Hey there, internet friends. Trevor Starkey here with another episode of That Nerdy Site Show, a weekly podcast where team members from That Nerdy Site get together to talk about our lives and all of the nerdy things we love about them. I'm your host, Trevor Starkey, as I said, and I'm flying solo this week. We had a kind of scheduling thing that ended up falling through, and I've got some personal stuff I got to work on, so I can't really do a long one this week. So we're doing kind of an abbreviated solo show. And I'm really just going to be talking a little bit about my time with Hitman this last week, as well as the Netflix series Bridgerton, which I've been watching. So just kind of some broad general thoughts on that. Hitman first. My background, for those that don't know what Hitman is, I basically played a little bit of the first of the rebooted Hitmans. And that was really my first exposure to any Hitman. I haven't played any of the prior games. But I hopped into the when they finally released the first Hitman as like a complete collection, rather than the episodic nature of the game originally. I picked it up, played a lot of that first like Paris level in the original Hitman, and then like a little bit of Sapienza and a little bit of Marrakesh, and then I pretty much bounced off after that. It just didn't really grab me. I had gotten introduced to it through, like I think a lot of people did, maybe the Giant Bomb cast, when they were doing like Hitsmiths, and kind of their fun little challenges. Like I saw those start popping up in my timeline, and like was like, oh, that like they're having a ton of fun with that. That seems like a really cool kind of game. Let me hop into that and try that out. And yeah, it just didn't really grab me at the time. Hitman 2 came out, and I didn't touch it at all. But with Hitman 3 here, I'm looking for stuff to play here in January, and I was like, I love that they have the option that they basically like bring all the other games forward that you've played, if you own them. That was something that I think Cameron and I talked about on an episode of something recently, and I didn't realize that you had to own the other games. I thought it was like, hey, Hitman 3 is going to include all the other levels. It does, but only if you already own them. But I already owned the first game, so I was like, cool. And Hitman 2 was like on sale for like $15 or something in the last week, so I grabbed that as well. And so for the last few days since Hitman 3 launched, I've basically been playing through all of the first Hitman and through a good chunk of Hitman 2, and then on stream yesterday as I'm recording this, Logan and I sat down and I basically played through the first couple levels of Hitman 3, with Logan kind of watching my stream, shared stream wise, through OBS, or through Discord, I guess. And we were just kind of like chatting and having fun with it. And I'm definitely like really sunk into it this time around. I'm having a ton of fun with it. I went through the day the game went live. I tried to pull like my very meager progress forward, which you can do through kind of Hitman servers and stuff. And there were definitely a lot of like issues on launch day, but I think they've probably more or less settled and gotten them resolved at this point. My progress had carried forward, but then at one point, as I was playing through like the Paris levels, I was up to like mastery level 14 on Paris or something like that. And then like the game went into offline mode briefly, like it disconnected and lost the servers. And then like when it came back, it reset my mastery level, but didn't reset my challenges on Paris. So like I'm back now at like level 7, but everything is still unlocked from like that I had unlocked previously. It's weird, but I also can't do like the challenges I did to try and get like those experience points again. So I'm like, that sucked. That was like, that's the biggest little annoying thing that I've encountered. I've faced like a few little hiccups here and there, with like connection to the Hitman servers, and I have playing through, I think some of the Hitman 2 levels, the game has frozen and it just stops. Like it just freezes. I can't do anything except go to the home screen and like force close out of the game. I can't. It doesn't automatically like crash and send like a crash report or anything like that. Though that's happened a couple times too. So it hasn't been the most stable of launches, but I'm still having a ton of fun with it. I'm really enjoying kind of I really enjoy one of the things I really enjoy is the guided missions. I'm playing through everything on like the basic difficulty because I'm terrible at stealth games anyway. But I'm enjoying the guided missions that like every level includes that kind of help tell a story through the level of like, hey, here's one of the fun ways you can kill this, this target. And then above and beyond that, I'm enjoying going through kind of after the fact and being like, okay, what other challenges haven't I done? Oh, I need to drown this person in such and such a way. How do I do that? And kind of solving that puzzle is a lot of fun for where my brain's at right now. I'm a huge fan of puzzle games in general, so I guess I never approached it as a puzzle game before, and that's what I'm doing this time around. So I'm really enjoying those elements of it. One of the things that I was like, I went into this one kind of, I went into it being like, okay, I'm going to pick up Hitman 3. I've seen a lot of stuff about the murder mystery level in particular, so I'm going to, have a ton of fun with that, hopefully. And I don't really care about the rest of the story or anything like that. And I'm surprised at how much I'm actually like interested in the story across the three games that they've been telling, like all intermittently through cutscenes and stuff. That's been kind of an interesting little discovery for me. It's there. The real bread and butter of the game is certainly the gameplay and the level design of each of these big open world sandboxes that you can kind of go in and just have fun with. But the story itself is also, they planted seeds, from the beginning that are, getting paid off here in the early stages of Hitman 3, which is I think interesting. So yeah, it was also interesting because I played basically Hitman 1 and then I played like the first couple levels of Hitman 3 and I was like, "Oh, okay, well that was a big turn. There's clearly a big arc for one of these characters that happens in Hitman 2 that I had not experienced yet." So, that's another element where it's like, the story doesn't really matter all that much. But yeah, it's been interesting. So far easily the favorite mission that I've had across the three games in my time there is the Dartmoor mission in Hitman 3, which is the murder mystery mission that got a lot of pre-release buzz. And it's just like a really cool idea, especially as somebody who really loved Knives Out. When Logan and I were streaming it, I talked about the fact that I've been in an Agatha Christie play, and that was a ton of fun, kind of like reminiscing on those memories and seeing just the tropes of the murder mystery genre and how they're conveyed here in video game form was really cool and easily like certainly like the most compelling aspect of that level compared to apart from that level. It's like, hey, kill this one target, which is pretty bare bones for most of these levels, which are kill two or more targets. But it's kill this one target and find like a missing case file or something like that. And like if you just do that and you don't care about the murder mystery side of things at all, that's a very basic mission. But like diving into the murder mystery, pretending you're the detective, investigating kind of the clues in each room and all that stuff, and then interrogating all the witnesses and all the family members. It was just like, oh, this is really cool. Logan and I and many other people I think have seen this online were like, how cool would it be if we had like a game that was just this, just, like walking around in a Hitman style kind of universe, solving murder mysteries, being a Hercule Poirot kind of character or a Benoit Blanc from Knives Out. So yeah, that was really cool. I'm outside of that. There's still like I will always have probably fond memories of Paris just because of how many times I've put or how many like playthroughs I've put into Paris and the fun diverse ways to eliminate enemies in there. I haven't done it too much yet, but what was it? It was at the in 2 going into Mumbai. So I've been at varying levels of like, oh, let me go through and like replay that level again, multiple times. So far, I've only done Mumbai once in Hitman 2, but like I really enjoyed the one time that I've played through that one, and I look forward to going back and revisiting that one and seeing kind of some of the different ways I can, tackle all the challenges in there. And then also Miami was a lot of fun with the kind of the race going, like the race going on is one side of the map, and then the expo hall going on as another side. That was a ton of fun too. So yeah, I'm like I think every one of these levels has just like really cool nuggets inside, let alone just like fun and obscure and humorous ways to kill these enemies. Like one of the things I think that often gets overlooked at Hitman, even though it's like right there at the surface, is just how funny the game is, intentionally so. Like obviously it can be funny, when when plans go awry and you just suddenly go into, all right, I'm just going to shoot everybody mode. But the humor in the intentional ways you're like designed to kill some of these people is just a ton of fun. Like in Miami, there's a whole subplot where like you take over as a big giant mascot kind of creature in like a flamingo outfit or something like that, and you can kind of go down a whole storyline involving that. And like when I left that map, I left in that costume, and just watching Agent 47 go off in a giant pink flamingo outfit sailing away on a motorboat was just like, yep, this is just hilariously absurd. So I think that's something that it is surprising me in like just how funny the game is, and it's trying to be funny in that regard. So yeah, those are kind of my early Hitman thoughts. Like I said, I haven't dove too much into Hitman 3, but I have done like everything there is to do in the Dartmoor mission. Like I went through and have done every challenge of that mission. I've replayed it multiple times. I haven't done all the escalated contracts yet on it, which are basically like alternate targets and objectives and stuff you can do. But yeah, it's a ton of fun, and I'm still like, I could still go back into there and discover new things. Like one of the things I haven't done is just followed the detective around, like not take over the detective, just follow the detective around and see what clues he picks up on and what, like, if he actually solves the case. That's something I don't know, but I'm like interested to see if that actually happens. But yeah, you can find my and Logan, our playthrough will be going live on our YouTube tomorrow. If you're listening to this the day it goes live, that's going to be basically the Tuesday Let's Play that goes out this week. It's about 2.5 hours, I think, of like, it's the first half hour or so is us playing through the first mission, which is Dubai, and then like the rest of it is a couple hours of just trying to solve the mystery at Dartmoor. So definitely check that out for more of our kind of impressions on Hitman 3 in particular. Then also, like I said at the top of the show, I have been watching the TV show Bridgerton on Netflix. Came out, this launched basically Christmas Day, I believe, on Netflix, and like it showed up as like a, hey, we're recommending this. So I checked it out, and I, as somebody who really liked Emma last year, and who occasionally has a fondness for kind of these period piece types of things. It was a very fun approach. It's especially the fact that like it's really playing with like modernity, in that a lot of the music is one of my favorite like musical acts, Vitamin String Quartet, it is like they do classical string presentations of classic of modern songs. So you're seeing a lot of like Ariana Grande songs and stuff in there, but played as if it was a string played as a string quartet. And Vitamin String Quartet has been doing that. I've been watching like their YouTube videos and stuff for years, and I remember I would have like back when I listened to like Pandora at work and stuff like that, I would have stations devoted to video game music, and I had stations devoted to basically like Vitamin String Quartet kind of stuff. So that was a ton of fun too. But yeah, I think the best way I can sum up Bridgerton is I basically was like an episode or two in, and I texted friend of the channel over at Kind of Funny, Joey Noel. I texted her and I was like, I get why you love Bridgerton, or like I don't know if I know if she loves Bridgerton or not, but I was like, if you love Bridgerton, I get it because it's basically To All the Boys I've Loved Before, but in 18th century times kind of stuff, or 17th century, no, 17th century, yeah, 17th century, 1800s, as kind of the Duke of Hastings and Daphne Bridgerton kind of really hit it off, and they start the whole thing off as like a, we're going to not fall in love, we're just going to put up appearances that we're in love, for Simon Hastings, Simon of Hastings, Duke Simon. He's looking to do it. He doesn't ever want to get married. He just wants to get all of the people off of his back, because all the mothers in particular off his back, because it's the London season, and all of the women are being pawned off on all the men through the mothers and all that stuff. And so Simon wants no part of that. He doesn't want a match. He's not looking for marriage, anything like that. And Daphne Bridgerton is, she's the belle of the ball. She's the one the queen kind of identified and was like, "You, darling, look beautiful." And so all eyes are on her. But the first kind of, everybody kind of maybe is intimidated by that at first. So she kind of uses Simon and says, like, I don't want to marry you. I just want, like, you raise my stature, and all eyes will be on me because they're on you as the Duke. And so kind of they're both making this bargain with one another. And of course, as those stories go, and it happens, pretty early on in the series, so I'm not spoiling anything, but as those kinds of bargains go, of course they fall in love with one another as they become, friends and start to, engage with one another, as opposed to just on a superficial level. And I thought it was really cool. There's also, a subplot with people trying to figure out who this Lady Whistledown character is, wonderfully voiced by Julie Andrews. And it's very much, I've never watched the show Gossip Girl, but it's what I understand Gossip Girl to be about, in that it's a narrator type of character, kind of sharing the secrets to high society, in this particular case. And it's voiced by Julie Andrews, but it's, there's a season-long mystery of like who is Lady Whistledown, and all that stuff. And that's a fun kind of subplot that's going on throughout the season as well. So yeah, I really enjoyed my time with Bridgerton. It was a fun kind of diversion. As I was playing through Hitman and stuff like that, it was a thing to have on the side while I was trying to puzzle out a particular kill or mystery or something like that. So yeah, that's kind of been my week here in gaming and pop culture and stuff like that. Hitman 3, or a lot of Hitman and a lot of Bridgerton. So that's, I think, going to do it for this week's episode. I highly recommend both of those things, especially if any of what I've said sounds appealing to you. Yeah, that's going to wrap up this episode. Thank you for joining me for this abbreviated, solo show of That Nerdy Site Show. Hopefully we'll be back next week with kind of a more normal thing, and checking in with everybody on just kind of what else they've been doing this January. You can follow me at Trevor J. Starkey on Twitter. Like I said, keep an eye out for the Hitman Let's Play that Logan and I did. It was especially a fun kind of like just testing that out to see, how can we do a 2-cam kind of like, because we're both, you can see both of our reactions to everything and how that works, and is there much of a lag, all that kind of stuff. So you can check that out on our YouTube channel tomorrow, if it is not already live for you, if you're not listening to this in the future. Yeah, you can follow us over at That Nerdy Site, and check out That Nerdy Site for all of the latest content from us. There's still, all of our Game of the Year stuff from 2020 is up there, kind of at the top of the pecking order. And yeah, check out all of that. If you liked what you heard, please rate, review, like, subscribe, maybe even consider supporting us over on Patreon at patreon.com/thatnerdysite, where every patron gets early access to a monthly bonus episode of this show. This month's early access episode is me and Logan talking about kind of what we thought of That Nerdy Site's 2020 and some of our goals for 2021. I need to basically get everybody together, or get somebody together to do next month's here in the next week or so, because obviously January is almost up. If you don't join us on Patreon, that episode will go live to everybody January 31st. Yeah, that's going to do it. Thank you for listening. As always, stay nerdy and be good to each other.